Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Join hosts Dan Melnick and Qasim Masood as they explore big ideas, limitless possibilities, and engage with visionaries, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders who dare to dream big, get inspired, motivated, and find practical tips for personal growth. Think big, dream bigger, and ignite your potential.
Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us where you live and what you do.
My name's Nikunj. I am the co-founder of Stay. I am building a fragrance brand for initially the Indian market, and down the line, basically have global ambitions. We want to expand to Hong Kong initially because that's where I'm based, but also looking at markets like the EU, the UK, the US, obviously, and the rest of the world.
Awesome. So I'm just curious more about your background. Like, how did you kind of get into this? Have you always been like a founder? Like, what inspired this idea?
I'm not new to entrepreneurship with this venture. I tried my hand at B2B SaaS before, but couldn't find the right product market fit. And I kind of then just started looking at other areas as well as I developed my career. And I discovered the Indian consumer space just being on X, formerly known as Twitter, for a while. I just kept scrolling and found these really astute businessmen creating huge profits using simple products, not a whole lot of innovation. Obviously designed and branded very well for the Indian consumer, really just honing in on their craft of selling to a consumer that's always super demanding, wants the best quality, but wants to pay the least price. And once you crack that market, I think the sky's the limit, basically. So, yeah.
For sure. So I guess like obviously it's one thing to come up with the concept and the idea, but what did the process look like for you to actually go and find like a manufacturing partner to kind of build like this, even like, first prototype?
Right. I'll tell you a funny anecdote. So back in August or September, I think it was, we had decided that we're going to do this, and we planned a Diwali launch. Diwali is typically late October, early November. Last year, it happened to be early November, and we were like, Diwali launch, best, it's our biggest sale of the year. We'll launch it then, and we'll, do, X amount of dollars in revenue or whatever if we launch during that month. Obviously, that didn't happen because this wasn't software, right? You can just code up the product and just make it live. And, people can download and play with it or whatever. No. So we first started just finding manufacturers. We were like, okay, cool. We'll just give it to one manufacturer. They'll just make the whole product. We'll sell it. And we went to them, and not only did we not like the product that they built for us, we also did not like their costs and their MOQs. So we realized that we had to break this big problem down into smaller chunks, like finding the right vendors for each of the components of our product if we are to price it as competitively as other people in the market back home. So then we sort of broke the whole perfume bottle down, right? And it's easier for us in our category, but if someone were to make a smartphone, for example, like nothing does, they have to break down entire components, man. Like even the smallest part, the screws, etc., even those get included in their final BOM, right? So we did that for our bottle. For our bottle, it was very simple. There's that glass bottle, there's an atomizer, there's a cap, there's a label that you put on the bottle. There's alcohol in that. And then finally the perfume oil. And even the oil, you could break it down to the essential oils, mixing of all of that. So we set out all over the world, basically, but primarily India and China, to find suppliers for all of this stuff and find the people who would guarantee us the best quality at the lowest price at order volumes of a few hundred. And you can, guess how easy it was to shortlist these suppliers, given that this list wasn't too long to begin with. Then we paid each of these guys a bunch of, like a few $100s each or whatever, to get some samples flown into Hong Kong. Some came from India, some came from China. Mostly it was, the Chinese suppliers that impressed us because of their quality and willingness to work at lower order volumes. So we decided to primarily start working with them. And now we have a robust supply chain with some suppliers in India, some suppliers in China, and like other perfume suppliers globally. So oils get flown in from, South Africa, EU, Vietnam, India, obviously, parts of China too. And these all get processed in an IFRS certified FDA approved facility, post which we buy the oils and the rest of the product. And we finally go and manufacture this at a contract manufacturing facility in India. So all of this took, the Diwali launch went from Diwali to New Year's to Holi. Holi is the festival of colors. Holi to, man, I'll just launch whenever the product's ready. At this point, I'm not going to wait for another festival or a sales quarter. So yeah, And finally, we did launch a couple of weeks ago.
Awesome. Well, it's exciting. Well, congratulations on the launch. And I'm curious, like, I see that you're in Hong Kong. So have you gotten a chance to go and visit your suppliers? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, almost all, actually, first, all suppliers we visited at least once in person, checked out their facilities, made sure that whatever they are delivering is the right quality and everything. And obviously, we're in this for the long haul. So we want to build in-person relationships with these guys. And that is there's never a question of cost when my co-founder, Pulkit, and I never even have the conversation of, do we really need to do this in person with them? So basically go there, and the Chinese suppliers are really open. Like, you can go into their factories and film and everything, because we obviously wanted to create content behind the scenes, because that's the trend these days. Brands are trying to build credibility using behind the scenes stuff. Oh, this is how it got made, and really showing the faces of people who are actually working on the product instead of just themselves. A couple of brands do this in India as well. So we thought, why not? And we did one reel on Instagram where basically like the whole reel was shots of product getting made. That's it. Got a lot of traction. Got much more traction than any of the brain rot stuff that I put my face on. So,
Makes sense. So in terms of like getting this product out to market, you were saying obviously, focusing on the Indian market first, like what does that look like? I mean, are you running meta ads like a Shopify page? Obviously that's kind of, I know how people do things like in the US, but like how does that kind of differ from what you see here in the States, for example?
Right. I would say primarily the difference is very big in terms of CPMs on meta ads, although we are not doing meta ads right now because we only created a very small testing batch for ourselves in order to be able to find, those last mile touches on the supply chain side. Now that we have honed in on that and we have planned a much bigger batch, 20x the size of the current batch. Mind you, Tex, like when we go all in, we do go all in. We know the product's working. We know there's PMF. So we're just going to scale it up now. So meta ads will come down the line once that batch is ready. For now, we're totally focused on organic because I think what we need is a good foundation of organic content, a team that can produce content at a pace that's kind of almost unprecedented in the consumer landscape in India right now, especially the direct consumer brands. That said, I think this foundation of organic content is going to be very strong come the day we are ready for meta ads. Because at this point, I think this would be true for the US market as well. The meta ads game is pretty much just creatives. Meta does everything else for you. If you create a sales campaign, you'll find the right people, find the right audiences, target the right ages, whatnot. And all you need to do is get out a good creative, give that to the algorithm, and it'll ensure that they sell for you.
For sure. And then I guess in terms of like organic, obviously like, organic can be different channels. So it's like, has that been meta for you as well, like Instagram and Facebook or other channels?
You didn't mention Twitter there. I sell a lot through Twitter as well, through my personal account.
Awesome.
That account I grew from 0 to 1.1K now in around 9 months, I would say. Yeah, I only gained followers when I started being public about Stay. And that was 1st October 2024. Still remember this. And people were so desperate at one point, I think it was early this year. They were like, dude, so much content already, man. Just release it. This guy just commented on one of my videos that I posted on Twitter. It's like, dude, just launch already, man. What are you doing? We're all waiting. So yeah. And then I was like, okay, just a few weeks. And finally, when we did launch, I think I just basically did a simple post saying, chat, where are your orders? And everybody just ordered that day. There's awesome. Like a complete spike on that day on Shopify. So yeah. But we're focused on growing Meta much more now. Yeah. The idea is to grow that to at least, five digit followers, within the next 3 months and put out a whole lot of content. Experiment a lot. Don't be afraid if it doesn't get traction. Just keep doing it and trust the process.
For sure. And then I guess in terms of, obviously, now it's super early, but in terms of like data, right? What are you seeing? Is it mostly men buying it? Is it women buying it for their, husband or partner? Like, I guess, what does that look like?
Our product is both for men and women, and we try and do gender neutral messaging as well. So it's kind of been 50-50 so far. I'd say maybe slightly higher on the men's side because more men follow me on Twitter than women. But the reverse is true for IG because more women buy through Instagram than men. So I would say it's fairly balanced and there's not much data to break down. What are we at? $400, $500 in revenue? Well, only been 2 weeks though. like almost
Yeah, I think that's pretty good.
2
Yeah.
weeks. But once we do have more data, excited to come back and share.
And then I guess in terms of like the product itself, right? Like, can you share more about the differentiation, like, the ingredients, like what's actually in the product compared to like what's out there like in the market today?
I think I will say this. I do not like to talk about our competitors much, but no one else is building like we are building. Like the amount of customer obsession we have and the amount of feedback we collect from our customers is unmatched across our competitors. I think everyone else is in this category because it's a profitable category. We are in this category because we love this category. No one else is building a perfume business because, they really want to see better perfumes in the market. I think they're chasing the money. For us, money is a byproduct of building such a good product that no one else can beat it at our price.
For sure. Awesome. Well, Nikunj, thanks so much for your time today. Awesome.